Welcome in everybody, I'm your host Ben and this is Who's Clues. Let's get straight in with the recap of last episode's tale, titled A Dark Tide. Set in the village of Greycliff, our victim Lydia was found at the bottom of a cliff, washed ashore, with a bruise on her head. And our four main suspects: we had Thomas Hale, the rugged fisherman. He was seen arguing with Lydia a few days before her death. We have Eleanor Cartwright. She was the unofficial leader of the village, but she believed the curse was real and believed Lydia's death was a sacrifice for the curse. There's also Jonas Cartwright, Eleanor's son. He had the secret relationship with our victim Lydia, but he did find out that Lydia found out something about his family. And finally, we have Isaac, who claims he painted her death days before it happened. Let's catch up with our detective and reveal the rest of the story. As the investigation deepens, the detective starts to unravel the real mystery behind Lydia's death and the so-called Greycliff curse. It wasn't the sea that took her, but a human hand. The truth comes out in pieces. Lydia had been researching the village's history, planning to write a book on the curse. In her research, she stumbled upon the Cartwright family's dark secret, one that revealed the curse wasn't supernatural at all. The deaths that occurred every few decades were orchestrated by the Cartwright family to maintain her grip on the village's power and perpetuate the myth of the curse. Lydia had found evidence that Eleanor's father was involved in the previous sacrifice, and Eleanor herself was prepared to do whatever necessary to protect the family legacy. On the night of the fisherman's feast, Lydia confronted Eleanor, threatening to expose the truth. In a panic, Eleanor struck Lydia on the head with a heavy object. As Lydia stumbled towards the cliff, disorientated, bleeding, Eleanor realised the legend could be used to her advantage. She pushed Lydia over the edge, ensuring her death would appear to be another chapter in the cursed history of Greycliff. Isaac's painting, which eerily predicted the death, wasn't a vision of the future. It was based on what he had witnessed the night of the murder. Isaac had seen Eleanor on the cliffs with Lydia, but had been too terrified to come forward, fearing the Cartwrights' influence. The detective confronts Eleanor, who at first denies everything, clinging to the myth of the curse. But as the evidence mounts, she is forced to admit her role in Lydia's death. With Eleanor arrested and the truth about the curse revealed, the village of Greycliff is left to reckon with its dark past. Isaac, now free from the weight of his silence, paints a final mural, a woman standing on the cliffs, staring out to sea, no longer bound by fear or myth. As the detective leaves the village, she watches the waves crash against the cliffs, knowing that Greycliff's curse was never about the sea, but about the people who had used its legend to hide their darkest deeds. And that closes that tale. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Again, I don't know why people are living there with that crazy curse. Even if it's not real, I would still look to move. So how did you guys find that? Email me at whosclues.podcast@gmail.com and let me know. Let's now move on to our next tale, titled The Last Masquerade. It's set in Ravenwood Manor, an imposing Victorian estate surrounded by dense woods. The manor, once the centre of high society, has fallen into quite disrepair. Now it hosts the annual Masquerade Ball, a decadent and mysterious event attended by the rich and powerful. Guests arrive wearing elaborate costumes and masks, concealing their identities until midnight, when the masks are traditionally removed. However, this year, one guest's mask will never come off. Let's meet our characters. We have Lord Edgar Blackwood, the enigmatic owner of Ravenwood Manor, known for his wealth, eccentricities, and his penchant for hosting elaborate exclusive gatherings. Rumours swirl that he has made many enemies through questionable business dealings. We have Catherine Blackwood, Edgar's much younger and beautiful wife. Rumoured to be unhappy with her marriage, she is captivating but shrouded in mystery, with whispers suggesting she has been unfaithful. Victor Langley, a powerful businessman with a ruthless reputation. He had been entangled in a bitter legal battle with Lord Blackwood over a failed business venture. Isabel Hartley, a famous opera singer and the Lord Blackwood's latest guest of honour. She arrived at the manor earlier that week, charming the guests and perhaps Lord Blackwood himself. Henry Vane, a once wealthy aristocrat, now on the brink of a financial ruin. He had been seen desperately trying to court Catherine, hoping to improve his fortunes. Let's progress with the story. The grand hall of Ravenwood Manor is filled with the clinking of champagne glasses, the sound of a string quartet, and laughter echoing through the candlelit ballroom. The Masquerade Ball is in full swing. Guests glide across the polished floor in their elaborate costumes, masks concealing their identities. At midnight, as per tradition, the guests gather for the grand unmasking. The clock strikes 12, and one by one, the revealers remove their masks, revealing their faces. But the moment is interrupted by a scream from the upper balcony. Lord Edgar Blackwood is found dead in the library, still masked, with a dagger plunged into his chest. Panic spreads through the ballroom as the guests realise that one of them is a killer, hiding behind a mask of elegance and charm. The detective, who is invited to the ball as a mere guest, finds herself drawn into a dangerous game of secrets and lies as she begins to unravel the truth behind the murder. Let's go through the clues found at the scene. The murder weapon, the ornate dagger found in Lord Blackwood's chest, is an antique from his personal collection. It was on display in the manor's study earlier that evening, and anyone could have taken it. There's the missing necklace. Catherine Blackwood's priceless diamond necklace, a family heirloom, is missing. It was last seen under her neck earlier that night. Some believe it was stolen during the commotion following Lord Blackwood's death, but others suggest it might be connected to the motive. A torn invitation found near Lord Blackwood's body. It's a crumpled invitation to the ball, torn in half. It seems to belong to one of the guests. But who? Several guests report seeing someone in an elaborate harlequin costume leaving the library shortly before the body was discovered. The guest remains unidentified and his mask was never removed. There's a threatening letter found. In Lord Blackwood's private study, a letter addressed to him is found. The letter, unsigned, threatens Blackwood, stating, "The past always comes back to haunt you." The ink is smudged, making it hard to determine when it was written. And there is a grudge. Victor Langley, who had a long-standing feud with Lord Blackwood over the failed business, was seen arguing with him earlier in the evening. Several witnesses overheard raised voices, though Victor denies it was anything serious. Through the night, our detective reveals further details. There's Catherine's secret. It's revealed that Catherine had been planning to leave Lord Blackwood for Henry Vane. She had grown tired of her loveless marriage and sought escape with Henry, who promised to rescue her from her gilded cage. The missing necklace was a symbol of her planned departure, as she intended to sell it to fund her escape. Isabel Hartley, the glamorous opera singer, was far more than just a guest of honour. She and Lord Blackwood had been lovers in the past, and she had come to Ravenwood under the pretence of performing, but in reality she sought revenge for being abandoned years ago. However, Isabel insists that she had no intention of killing him, only of confronting him. Victor Langley had every reason to want Blackwood dead, after Blackwood's shady business practices cost Victor his fortune. He swore revenge. Victor admits to the argument, but claims he left Blackwood alive. He confesses that the torn invitation found near the body was his, but insists that he didn't commit the murder. And lastly, the guest in the harlequin costume, who had gone unnoticed in the chaos, was not on the official guest list. They had slipped in undetected, mingling with the crowd. But who were they? And what was their purpose? Some suggest it might have been an assassin, while others think it was someone with a personal vendetta. And this is where we will end our tale. So, who do you guys think it was? We had Catherine, Blackwood's wife, looking to leave the marriage. We had Victor, perhaps out for revenge over the failed business venture. We had Isabel, the opera singer, also out for revenge due to the past with our victim. And finally, there's Henry Vane, courting the victim's wife Catherine. Once again, all will be revealed in the next episode. Also, quick side note, I kept pronouncing Victor as victim. That would have been very confusing. I'm glad I can edit these. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Bye.